the Great American West, and Yellowstone National Park, mythic in its proportions. And 4 million visitors every year go to take part of that mythic landscape. Its beauty, its serenity, its history. But what about that history? Exactly how did we end up with this land as part of an American park, one of its most popular? Who decided that America owned it? Who was there before? Who claimed these lands? And what happens when industry clashes? What happens when people clash? Frankly, it's not always a pretty story. It's about railroads, it's about a destructive civil war, it's about protagonists in pursuit of their own agendas, about Sitting Bull, about the loss of bison, about the catastrophic economic and ecological disasters that followed. In the end, it's also about clashes of power and people. It's about all those 4 million people that come to visit Yellowstone, but what that actually means. This tale of Yellowstone isn't just about how we preserved the land. It's preserved for who, in what complex historical context, and whose rights. It's a big landscape and a big story. It's hard to know who the heroes and villains are. But one thing we know for sure, the landscape itself is worth preserving. And it's good for us to look back at a land of wonders that is beautiful and terrible and fragile and powerful, and that maybe has been ready to explode all along. I do mean that literally. There are geysers. There's a volcano under your feet, you know. So join us, hear more about this fascinating history from a fascinating writer who's won all kinds of awards and can tell us a lot more about the Civil War and Western history. Don't miss out, only on The Peculiar Book Club, where, let's face it, if you're weird, you're family. You belong.